So we've got one last video for section 1.5, and it's a quick one on just covering vertical angles, because there's a special theorem that apply to vertical angles that don't necessarily apply to adjacent, supplementary, complementary, and all those. And that theorem is that all vertical angles are congruent. Remember, vertical angles are across from each other. So we got angle 4 to be congruent to angle 2, and angle 1 congruent to angle 3. So anytime you see angles across from each other with two lines drawn, you can assume that they're congruent. So lines AB and CD intersect at point E. So let's go ahead and draw this. Let's get two arrows on here. We got AB, CD. Let me give some points. Remember, when you're doing this, it's always important to draw a picture, label it so that you can see what you're doing. So we got point E. AED is 4x plus 37, and BEC is 7x plus 43. So vertical angles are congruent. That's the theorem that we just talked about on the last slide. Since vertical angles are congruent, that means I can set them equal. I'm going to move the 4x over to this side. I'm going to move the 43 over to this side. Divide. I get x is -2. Now, don't worry if you get a negative number. It's okay to get x to be a negative number. We just need to double check, does that make any of my angles negative? So when I plug it in, 4 times -2, that's -8, plus 37. -8 plus 37 gets you 29, which means both of these are 29. Please remember, I've said it a bunch already, read the question before you answer. Angle AEC is this one up here. So we got to do 180 minus 29, because if you look at it, you could use either 29, but these two are both making a straight line. They're a linear pair. They're supplementary, so they add up to 180 degrees. So 180 minus 29 gets you 151 for your final answer. Now when we look at this picture, we have line M is perpendicular to line P, meaning this is a right angle. Line M and line P make a right angle. Angle 1 is 4x plus 7, and angle 2, 3x minus 1. So I'm going to use the fact that those two form this right angle, which means they're complementary, to help me find x. Complementary angles, remember, add up to 90 degrees. So I combine like terms. 7x plus 6 equals 90. Subtract the 6, 7x equals 84. Divide by 7, that's going to get me x is 12. Now that x is 12, I need to plug it back in. My ultimate goal is to find angle 4. Well, angle 4 is across from angle 1. So 1 and 4 are congruent. So if I find the measure of angle 1, that means I found the measure of angle 4 as well. 4 times 12 is 48. 48 plus 7 gets us that the measure of angle 1 is 55 degrees. But that's also the measure of angle 4. And that's what we got on vertical angles.